Hello and welcome to a Sports Buzz with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the latest news and updates from different sporting arenas. In the next half an hour, we're going to bring you all the latest from cricket, today's football event between India and Qatar, and a lot more. So let's begin with the top headlines of the hour. Suryakumar Yadav to captain India's squad against Australia for upcoming T20I series. 5-match T20I series to start on the 23rd of November in Visakhapatnam. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Indian squad in dressing room after World Cup finale, boosted morale of the players after World Cup loss, and also invited the squad for meet and greet session. And in football, India is all set to face world number 61 and Asia's 6th best team Qatar in second round of FIFA World Cup qualifiers at Odisha's Kalinga Stadium today. So those were the top headlines of the hour that we're tracking for all our viewers and sports lovers here on Sports Buzz. Now to get you the latest from the world of cricket. Well, the Indian Men's Selection Committee on Monday announced the squad for the upcoming 5-match T20 International Series against Australia. The series is scheduled to start from the 23rd of November in Visakhapatnam. Suryakumar Yadav is all set to lead the squad. Ruturaj Gaikwad will be the deputy for the first 3 matches, and Shreyas Iyer will then join the squad as vice-captain for the last 2 T20Is in Raipur and Bengaluru. Staying on cricket, 6 Indians have been included in the International Cricket Council's team of the tournament for the Men's Cricket World Cup team. While Australia, who won the World Cup on Sunday, has only 2 players in the 11. Glenn Maxwell, who smashed an unbeaten 201 against Afghanistan, found a place alongside teammate Adam Zampa. From Team India, pacer Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, Ravindra Jadeja, KL Rahul and Virat Kohli, they all have been added to the list beside Rohit Sharma, who's been named as the captain of the playing 11. Quinton de Kock from South Asia, Daryl Mitchell from New Zealand and Dilshan Madhushanka from Sri Lanka also found their spots in the ICC playing 11. Well, Team India faced a heart-wrenching loss against Australia in the ICC Cricket World Cup Grand Finale that took place on Sunday. And despite the disappointment, the indomitable spirit displayed by the men in blue did not go unnoticed, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi personally met the team in the dressing room to offer words of support and also offered a hug to pacer Mohammad Shami, who remained the highest wicket taker of the tournament.
On Sunday, after India lost the Cricket World Cup final, the dreams of 1 billion-plus Indians were shattered, as of the Indian team. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the match, and he also met the players of Team India in the dressing room after the game, boosting their morale. This isn't the first time the Prime Minister has lifted the morale of athletes after a loss. He did so previously in the Tokyo Olympics and the Women's Cricket World Cup in 2017.
हमारे ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने जो हमें टाइम दिया था, हर एक लड़की को उन्होंने नाम से पहचाना, हर एक लड़की का क्वेश्चंस उन्होंने आंसर किया है. तो आई थिंक ये बहुत इट इज़ a matter of honor.
PM Modi's commitment to sports development in India is seen through initiatives like Khelo India and the Target Olympic Podium scheme, showcasing a determination to make India a powerhouse in sports. The Prime Minister engages with athletes through social media, phone calls and personal meetings. This reflects his role as a significant source of inspiration for the sporting community in the country. Recently, the Prime Minister met the teams participating in the Asian Games and Asian Para Games. Even in his monthly program, Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister keeps mentioning sports or sports persons. The increasing sports infrastructure and the resilience of athletes are steering India towards hosting and excelling in Olympic Games.
साल 2036 में भारत में ओलंपिक्स का सफल आयोजन हो, इसके लिए भारत अपने प्रयासों में कोई कमी नहीं रखेगा.
Prime Minister Modi's liking for sports is evident. His commitment to sports-related initiatives, honouring victorious athletes, boosting their morale despite defeats, and bringing major sporting events to India. His efforts underscore the government's dedication to making India a sporting powerhouse.
Now, on India's World Cup loss, former Indian World Cup winning captain Kapil Dev said that sports need to really move on and we cannot undo the hard work. Team India did play a fantastic cricket although.
I think sports will have to move on. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि एक धक्का लगा उसको सारी उम्र नहीं. I think ये fans के ऊपर होता है. Sportsmen have to move on. You have to plan for the next day. जो निकल गया उसको undo तो कर नहीं सकते. लेकिन just keep working hard. That's what the sportsman is all about.
Staying on cricket, the International Cricket Council board met today and confirmed the terms of the suspension of Sri Lanka cricket. After hearing the representation from SLC, the ICC board decided that Sri Lanka can continue to compete internationally both in bilateral cricket and ICC events after being suspended recently for breaching its obligations as a member, in particular the requirement to manage its affairs autonomously and without government's interference. However, funding to Sri Lanka cricket will be controlled by the ICC, and ICC board also confirmed that Sri Lanka will no longer host the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup 2024, which will now be held in South Africa. The ICC further said and approved new gender eligibility regulations for the international game following a 9-month consultation process with the sports stakeholders. The new policy is now based on the following principles in order of priority, as the ICC say. First is the protection of integrity of women's game, safety, fairness and inclusion. And now this means that any male to female participants who have been through any form of male puberty will not be eligible to participate in the international women's game, regardless of any surgery or gender reassignment treatment that they may have undertaken. Now, the review, which was led by the ICC Medical Advisory Committee chaired by Dr. Peter Harcourt, also relates solely to gender eligibility for international women's cricket, whilst gender eligibility at domestic level is a matter for each individual member board that may be impacted by local legislation. Now, the regulations will be reviewed within 2 years as well. Moving on in Sports Buzz, let's get you an update on tonight's big event. Well, India will take on Qatar in the second round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers at the Kalinga Stadium in eastern coastal state of Odisha. Sunil Chhetri-led Indian football team hopes to punch above its weight against Asian champs Qatar. With the fan support and a good home record, the Indian men's football team is keen on a positive result against Qatar. It will again help them to take a closer step to securing their place in the next round. India won its first FIFA World Cup qualifier match on foreign soil in 22 years when it beat Kuwait in Kuwait by 1-0 in the qualifiers round under head coach Igor Stimac. India remains unbeaten at home this year, but with Qatar, they will face a side that is riding high on confidence following an 8-1 victory over Afghanistan. Moving on to tennis courts now, ahead of the Davis Cup tournament, which is all set to take place in Spain, world number 1 Novak Djokovic arrived in Malaga with an aim to complete one of the best seasons of his incredible career by leading Serbia to the Davis Cup title for a second time now. Serbia are one of the 8 surviving nations from September's group phase and will face Britain on Thursday. Serbia's task has been made a little easier with injuries ruling out Dan Evans and Andy Murray from Britain's lineup, although they still have world number 18 Cameron Norrie and youngster Jack Draper in the squad, as well as a strong doubles lineup including world number 3 Neil Skupski. Djokovic reached all 4 Grand Slam finals this year, winning 3 of them to move past Rafael Nadal to a record 24 major titles. Now on last Sunday, he beat Italy's Yannick Sinner to win a record 7th ATP Finals title as well. Moving on to the boxing rings now, many young stars are all set to compete after an 8-year pause in the upcoming IBA World Junior Boxing Championship in Yerevan at the end of this year. The boxing championship, starting from the 24th of November, will be a major highlight before the year ends. A total of 57 countries have decided to send their 15 and 16-year-old talents to the IBA Junior World Boxing Championship. The championship will be held in all of the 13 official women's and men's weight categories, from the pin weight of 46 kg up to the weight categories of plus categories. Moving on in Sports Buzz, now let's get you an update from your favorite soccer player, Messi. Well, the 6 shirts worn by Lionel Messi at 2022 World Cup are expected to fetch a record price in the auction later this month. The collection, that is expected to be the most valuable collection of sports archives, includes the shirt Messi wore during the first half of the finals in Qatar. The white and sky blue shirts will be up for bid between the 30th of November and 14th of December. That also happens to be the date of the collection's public exhibition. This extraordinary collection is estimated in excess of $10 million. Well, Lionel Messi's Argentina is now all set to face world champions Brazil in a mouth-watering World Cup qualifying clash in Rio de Janeiro. Let's take a look on how the teams are preparing ahead of the Super Clash and what are their biggest concerns.
The fierce rivalry between Brazil and Argentina will hit fever pitch when Lionel Messi's World Cup champions face the struggling hosts in a mouth-watering South American World Cup qualifying clash in Rio de Janeiro on Tuesday. Speaking on the Super Clash, Brazil coach Fernando Diniz said,
Argentina's national team has been one of the best for a long time. Not only because they won the World Cup, Argentina has players who play in the best leagues and stand out, as well as having Messi. It's a team that has played for a long time, had an incredibly successful cycle in Copa America and the World Cup, and maintained a base. So if it's not the best, it's among the 3 best football teams in the world today. So we are aware of that, and we will prepare the team to do our best against a great opponent. 5-time World Cup winner Brazil will rely on their fans in a sold-out Maracanã Stadium to give them an extra boost to recover after losing back-to-back games in the qualifying competition for the first time in their history.
Speaking on Lionel Messi, he said,
Dealing with Messi is obviously different, and you'd have to worry. There is no way not to worry about a player of that magnitude with his decision-making power. We also have to play. We must not move away from our characteristics and at the same time try to contain all the creativity and decision-making that he has.
As they struggle with injuries to key players like Neymar and Vinicius Jr., caretaker manager Fernando Diniz must resort to a young team against Argentina, but one that he guarantees will stay true to Brazil's identity, even against a great like Messi.
Messi is a genius. He's a different player. Despite his age, he will always be doing great things. As a friend and a teammate, I made the most of my time with him at PSG. I saw a lot of things from him. I grew a lot in aspects. But tomorrow, unfortunately, he is my opponent. So I'm alerting my teammates as much as possible about what we can do to limit his actions in the game. We must know that he is a different player that we must be very careful of.
Winless in the last 3 games, Brazil have dropped to 5th in the South American standings on 7 points from 5 games after losing 2-1 to Colombia on Thursday. They are under heavy pressure as they prepare for long-time rivals Argentina, who top the standings on 12 points. Sports Desk, DD India.
Staying on soccer, Italy qualified for Euro 2024 after drawing 0-0 against Ukraine in their final Group C qualifier on Monday. European champions Italy finished second, level on 14 points with third place Ukraine, but with a better head-to-head record after a tense affair that could have gone either of the way. The Italians ended 6 points behind England, who had sealed qualification after beating Italy by 3-1 at Wembley in October. Italy qualified for the Euro 2024 after drawing 0-0 against Ukraine in the Group C qualifier on Monday, although the Ukrainians can still secure a spot through the playoffs. Now, the European champions Italy finished second, level on 14 points with third place Ukraine, but of course with a better head-to-head record. Italy had strong claims for a penalty after Brian Cristan's clumsy challenge on Michaelo Mudryk in stoppage time, but nothing was given.
Of course it's difficult. If you see our group, of course in Ukraine, not lots of people believe in us, and we fought it until the last game. I'm pleasure to the players. We are working together only nearly half year, and I think they show the wish to understand our model of the game. They show the wish to show the character of Ukraine, because now as all of you knows, the war in Ukraine is continuing, and I think it's quite hard for the players. They're always watching the telephones, they're always watching the news, same as me, and in this atmosphere, not easy to work. But we all understand that we represent very strong country, and I think today on the pitch, all the players show that we have a character and we fight for our country.
And now let's get you an update on Gavi's injury. Barcelona midfielder Gavi tore his anterior cruciate ligament on international duty with Spain and now needs a surgery, his club has confirmed. 19-year-old Gavi left the pitch in tears on Sunday after landing awkwardly when jumping to control the ball. Barcelona said he would have a surgery on his right ACL, with a further update on injury due in the coming days. Well, Gavi could also miss the rest of the season, and his chances of playing at Euro 2024 as well as the Paris Olympics are really in doubt as of now. France and Greece hit the training pitch on Monday as they prepare for their final European qualifier slated for Athens on Tuesday. With France already qualified on top of Group B and Greece confirmed in the playoffs in third, Tuesday's match will not change the standings. France beat Greece by 1-0 in their previous meeting in Paris in the month of June. Moving on in Sports Buzz, now let's get you an update on marathon. In Havana's annual Marabana race, thousands of marathoners from 47 countries traversed the iconic landmarks. The 37th edition featured 10, 21 and 42-kilometer races, attracting a diverse international participation. The event, dedicated to the centenary of Cuban revolutionary leader José Ramón Fernández and honoring the bond between Cuba and Mexico, this year's Marabana celebrated unity and also expressed gratitude for Mexico's unwavering solidarity. Well, thousands of video games fans cheered on at a laser-lit stadium in Seoul as South Korean team T20 beat China's Vivo Gaming in the finals of the annual championship of multiplayer battle game called League of Legends. League of Legends, an esports classic, made its debut at the Asian Games in Hangzhou, China earlier this year, alongside other titles such as Dota 2, despite being released over a decade ago. Dakar Rally will return to Saudi Arabia in the year 2024 for the 5th time, with riders crossing the desert with the promise of more dunes and challenging terrains in the 46th edition of the famed race. The rally will start in the historic city of Al-Wala on 5th of January in the west, with the route first going east in the direction of the empty quarter and returning west to finish on the coast of the Red Sea in Yanbu on the 19th of January. Organizers have announced a new format for the 48 hours chrono stage with a time limit set for 4 p.m. After that time, competitors will have to stop to camp at the next time they come across and will only be allowed to start again at 7 a.m. the following morning.
I am already excited to try something new. If I like it, I will tell you afterwards, because I'm a little bit scared of the darkness, but I'm sure I will survive.
I think that's actually, the foundation of rally there.
Those are some of the best times of Dakar. I mean, all of us drivers, sleep in one area, and we all got to sleep in tents and ration together. So it's some of the most fun. Everybody comes together and smiles, and it's like a little campsite story afterwards.
Anything that, adds a variable or two to the race can make for a good event.
We see how we can make the strategy for this day. We need to be sometime, together with the two teams, and to at least work together.
Moving on to water sports now, stand-up paddling is often thought of as a relaxing holiday activity, but the World Championship in Thailand were anything but for the hundreds of athletes who churned through the waters of Pattaya. The biggest ever edition of the World Championship drew competitors from 52 nations as they raced their way through the technical, long distance and sprint disciplines. So amazing visuals of the water sport over there. And with this, it's now time to wrap up this edition of Sports Buzz. But news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and updates from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.